Okay, we're ready to start Nass versus Toxiic. These two have played 7 series in the past in Showmatches and tournaments. Nass has won 4 of them. Nass is also the highest rated European European server player, I should say, because he's not European. He's in fact Moroccan. He's African. But he's the highest rated European server player in the ranked leaderboard right now, sitting rank 2 behind Chronic, who is all-time all world number 1. And that does, put Nass as the favorite according to ranked, the favorite according to their all-time matchup, head-to-head against each other, and also the favorite according to RL Jules. Nass is number 3 on there, behind Rally and Wavy. He's already up 2-0. Nass, extremely difficult to play against in ones when he can get his kickoff game rolling. He's just very hard to get off the ball. And is a tournament style, a style I should say that's shone in tournaments. No more than in Salt Mine 3, where Nass was victorious against the entire field. And even though Nass has had some pretty bad matchups against certain players historically, namely Naupo, who's beaten him 7 out of the 8 times they've played, he was still able to get the win in Salt Mine 3 Grand Finals against Naupo. And even though Zen, I think, has an all-time winning record against Nass, Nass still able to win the entire tournament. He's still able to go the distance when it mattered most. I think his style just translates very well to high-pressure tournament play. Toxiic, meanwhile, couldn't really perform up to his maximum potential at the Salt Mine 3 era. He was able to make it to the main events, but never playoffs. He was a consistent 9th or 10th kind of range in Europe. And he's just getting absolutely bodied right here by Nass. Now, Toxiic's known as one of the best kickoffs in the world, or he's known as having one of the best kickoffs in the world. So what Nass is doing right now should not be underestimated. This is incredibly impressive stuff. And that's great knowledge there by Nass. Just knowing if he puts the ball over Toxiic's head, he can keep fighting for the boost. Nearly clipped him on the back wall there as he was coming back down. Toxiic's, he's really struggling here. This has been so difficult for him to control the ball for any meaningful length of time. Double reset for Nass. Decides to just let the ball go away from him though. Too much separation between the ball and his car after that second reset landed. And here comes Toxiic looking for his first goal of the game, but it's going to be a big whiff after an attempted flip reset of his own. I'm not sure he even landed the reset here. Oh, it wouldn't have mattered. He was on the wrong side of the ball. I mean, he was positioned on the left side of the ball there, hitting it towards the left. The ball was already moving, or hitting the ball to the right from the left side like that. As the ball's already moving in that direction, it doesn't really lend your car to sticking to the ball, which is what you need to do when you're flip resetting, of course. 6-0. Wow, this is a brutal Game 1 display by Nass. He has been clinical. And unfortunately for Toxiic, he has made so many mistakes. That's a boost grab that you just do not have time to grab, do not have time to get. But really, the main problem for Toxiic is that he has not, until now, had really anything to write home about from the kickoff game. He does win one big time to the inside there, though. Let's see how Nass adapts. Expect to see Nass cover that left side of the ball if he wants to stop that from happening again. That's exactly what he does. And oh, he should have been back in the midfield play there. Before I could even talk about it though, Toxiic nearly pull shotted him to score, but a bump from Nass recovers the play brilliantly. And even though he's missed this shot from the halfway line, this is still a very good position for Nass. He's got the pick of the litter when it comes to scoring chances here. And that will be one that is successful. Toxiic down 7-1. You might be thinking about forfeiting here, but then you look at the clock and you're thinking, well, there's more than half the game to go. I mean, if my opponent can go up by 6 in half the game, why can't I come back by 6 in half the game? It's always a really positive way to think about comebacks. If there's more than half the game to go, then, hey, just win by the same margin in the second half that your opponent won the first half with. Toxiic. Delayed flick. Oh, that's brilliant. And that might be the pop-off that he needs to get his confidence back. Supremely delayed flick by Toxiic. He had his the back end of his car back to the ground before he flipped there. Still managed to get it past Nass. And now a kickoff for Toxic. Goes straight in. That's a fantastic read by Toxic. Look at how he dives underneath the ball. Okay, that lagged. Never mind. Never mind. Don't look at how he dives underneath the ball. It just lags out when we're trying to take a closer look. But yeah, you saw the delayed approach for Nass, so he just chipped it instead of flipping into it. Or he's hacking, either way. Well, Toxic really jumped from quite far into a wave dash recovery attempt there. Didn't work out too well. This is much better though. Nass backed up into his own net, has a boost advantage. Oh, Toxic just hit the bar. No, Toxic. That was not the play. He had absolutely no boost to work with, and he just popped it clean into the bar. If he was trying to pop bump, then, I mean, you've got to get the ball on target. Brief comeback attempt there by Toxic, but it's been more than stifled, and now time is really not on his side. That's a monstrous 50-50 win by Nass, and it's just straight in the net. That should be a forfeit. Yeah, next from Toxic as he gets annihilated on that mid-air challenge. We're just going to pause right there. Don't need to see any more. The ball just bounced in. GG's. Well, GG I should say. Game 1. Comfortable win for the Moroccan. Why even make a matchup like this when the skill difference is big? Yeah, you're right. I'm just an idiot. What am I doing? Just clueless matchmaker. Yeah, I should go find a real job. I'm just not very good at this. On me. But now, jokes aside, I mean, Toxic is a good match. He's a good match for Nass. Come on. Toxic's probably top 10 EU on a good day. And Nass is top 1 EU on a good day. The range of Nass you're going to get these days is between 1 and 5 EU. There's a few players who are definitely at his level and can trade games with him. Durali has a good all-time record against Nass, I believe. So does Zen, Naupo, Rawas gives him good games, obviously. But I mean, Nass is S tier and Toxic is A tier. So if all you want to see is Nass against other S tier players, then you're not going to get to see many Nass matches because S tier players are limited. Yeah, S versus A, I think that's a good match. If you ever have a chance as a show matchmaker to get an S tier player against an A tier player, that's a good match, in my opinion, because those are the kind of matches that allow A tier players to move up to S tier, and that's what Toxic's trying to do today. He's trying to get an upset win. But yeah, Toxic's really good. He's up against it here. Nass kind of bodied him in game 1, but that happens. You know, Nass is just one of the best players in the world, especially when it comes to 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 substitute play for G2 esports. I mean, he just really is that guy right now. Toxic's not had the same breakthrough Nass has, but he could definitely have that breakthrough. There's elements of Toxic's game that are S tier as well. I mean, not his whole game, but his kickoff game is usually S tier. His flick game, I would put in the S tier. And, all around, Toxic doesn't really have too many weaknesses. He's quite an all-rounded player. Well, well-rounded player, I should say. Just one guy. Yeah, I'm just using it as an opportunity to talk about that. But it's not really an issue, is it? I don't think Toxic's really a player who's receiving widespread criticisms. Yeah, Nass stocks went through the roof after Esports World Cup. When it comes to 3v3, obviously a season he just had with M80, it was his best season he's had in RLCS. The season prior, he didn't make main events in Europe. He was playing with Scrub, that Scrub Killer, and Rixie. And I don't think they made main events together, which is a bit of a surprise because they were expected to be making main events. Very talented roster at the time, still, all very good players. But yeah, his M80 season, despite being his best that he's had, was a weird one, as I'm sure a lot of you will know. Not making it to any semi-finals, despite, I think, making playoffs every time. Did you guys make playoffs every time, AJ, or did you miss one of them? I can't remember if you missed one, or if you did make every single top 8. You missed the last. Okay, gotcha. So you made 5 out of 6 playoffs every single time, losing in quarters. Very weird. Yeah, M80 in Swiss in North America last season, AJ Nass is. They were pretty clearly the third best Swiss team. Well, let's just say a top 3 Swiss team, because it wasn't even clear that they were third best. They were just simply one of the teams that you expect to dominate Swiss. It was M80, Gen G, G2. And then when you get to playoffs, it was pretty clear that G2, Gen G were the top 2. And then towards the latter part of the season, Space Station established themselves as that third best team with teams like OG, Rebellion, and earlier on in the season, Luminosity fighting for number 4. Yeah, very weird playoff mental block that team had. Okay, interesting game 2 here. Very low scoring. Tense back and forth in this last midfield play. It's a great entrance to the play there by Nass. Just as Toxiic was looking to set up a threatening attack. Toxic's done just that now though. Again, Nass able to close the distance. Gets a bump on the follow through as well. When you farmed, you're probably 4 to 50 in scrim games. Took a while to get used to structure for all 3 of you. Alright, so scrims initially were going really badly then. And then when it came to Swiss, it just worked for some reason. That's interesting. Alright, Toxiic looking to tie the game. Oh, he's hit the bar again! That's 2 crossbars for Toxiic and a bad landing as well. The boost hasn't spawned yet for Nass though. It did right there though, and Toxiic might not know that Nass has boost. He will now. For a split second there, Nass might have been pretending to be boost starved just to keep Toxiic in the area. But Toxiic realized too late that a big counter-attack was coming, and now he's down by 2. Well, he really was close many times this game to tying the game. None of those worked, and now he's got double the job to do. Still, much better of a situation than it was in the last game. Feels backflip indeed, but just 2 goal deficit. Make that a 3 goal deficit. Still, hey, like I was saying, much better than last game. Much better situation than the last game. Just a 3 goal deficit here, ladies and gentlemen, for Toxiic to try and come back from. Saw the delayed kickoff. He seems like he's got a really good eye for that delayed kickoff spot. And guys, don't even worry, it's only a 4 goal deficit. Much better than last game's 6 goal deficit. 4 goals, far closer, especially in 1v1. So really Toxiic, he's making progress here. If you look at the scorelines game to game. And guys, listen. Okay, still a 4 goal deficit. I thought it was about to be 5 there, not quite. Nass has pinched the post, and now here comes Toxiic, going the whole way. Only a 3 goal deficit. Now he's moving in the right direction. Nass was looking to just cement the win there with a dive challenge that Toxiic saw coming. But what's Nass's kickoff going to be? Delayed kickoffs have been spotted a few times, so he just goes back to standard. It's a good chance for Toxiic. He's got Nass in his sights. Tried to pop it over an early challenge there that didn't come. Oh, the shot's just not enough. Toxiic. He went for it at the end of the game there. He was trying to read a dive challenge from Nass. It didn't happen. And then he had to go for one himself where he's just going to lose. That did get spotted by the Moroccan, and it's going to be 2-0. Efforts made right into the closing seconds by the Englishman. But Nass has just been a bit too good today so far. And I'm sure most of you expect a sweep at this point. But don't forget how close this game was. Oh dear, that's painful, man. He doesn't even get the consolation goal at the end there. It's 99.9% in the net, but it just freezes. I don't believe this. It's been a tough day at the office for Toxiic. He's not played at his absolute peak. His flick game has not been full force. His kickoff game definitely hasn't been full force. And it's going to need to be if he's going to have any chance of winning this third game. Nass has been just quintessential Nass. He's been brilliant. And you'd expect him to be in fine form. Like I said, coming into the start of this game, this series I should say, Nass coming off a phenomenal Esports World Cup where he subbed for G2. He's, I believe, ranked 1 in the 2v2 ladder right now. He's ranked 2 in the 1v1 ladder, and he's ranked 3 in RL Duels.gg. I mean, he just really is peaking in every single game mode, which is extra impressive given the fact that his RLCS season is already over. I love to see that. You know, not only Nass, but definitely, you know, himself included. A lot of players on the grind, even though the off season is a long one. Now, there was another look at Toxic's continued struggle to get his split game ramped up to full speed today. I mean, usually he'd be jumping at the halfway line, and hey, there it is! Just as we start talking about it, he pulls one out. I was about to say usually he's jumping at the halfway line and ripping the top bins. Couldn't even finish my sentence because he jumped at the halfway line and ripped the top bins. That's what I mean when I say Toxic's got an S tier flick game. When he's on form, he backs up anyone into their net from supreme distances. I don't expect Nass to be giving him enough space to do that again after seeing that one fly into the top corner. Low 50, 1-1. Pause, says Toxic. I will indeed. It looks like he's lagging. I'll just wait for the kickoff to spawn them in. And let's see if Toxic can get his lag sorted here. Yeah, Toxic, he's a really good player. He's got some quality wins. He's beaten... Let me just read out while we're pausing here, waiting for Toxic's connection to come back. So we're 1-1, 3:54 on the clock. I can revert to that if... yeah, okay. We're just going to do a mid-game test here to see if his ping really is that bad or if it's just because of the pause. Okay, it looks like it should be fine. Alright, so it's 3:54. No problem. Alright, here we go. Let's get right back into it. I'll still read out some of Toxic's all-time results while we get into this. He's got a 4-6 all-time head-to-head against Moxie, so he's beaten Moxie 4 out of 10 times they've played. He's 3-4 all-time against Nass. He's 5-1 all-time against Atto, 2-3 all-time against Naupo. So, you know, very competitive against some of the absolute best players on the European server in Naupo, Atto, Nass, Moxie. Rawas is a player Toxic has also struggled with. He's 1-4 against Rawas all-time, 0-4 against TRK. Those are the two players who have the best record against Toxic. And then he's 0-3 against Rally. Rally, another player who's had fun time playing against Toxic when they matched up in the past. But yeah, a couple other rivalries. He's 2-3 against Raziers, 2-2 with CRR, and 2-1 against Clears. Yeah, very competitive. When Toxic's playing, you know you could be in for a treat. He's good enough to beat anyone on his day. But yeah, Nass has just been at a very high level recently. And unfortunately for Toxic, he wasn't able to come out the gate quite as hot as Nass did. And Nass has not let off since he got started with this performance. And Nass knew exactly how much boost Toxic had there. Just lunged in and forced the 50-50. Which is great knowledge there by Nass. Tracking Toxic's boost the entire time. Knew that there was not really any danger of Toxic accelerating the play after him or ahead of him there. Little fake jump by Nass. Perhaps getting Toxic to give the possession away. Now here comes the long-range air dribble. Toxic sitting back on it in case it's a bump coming his way. It's not, it's a reset. It's off the bar though. Nass just briefly slows down. Pops the ball awkwardly. Wanted the mid boost on spawn, didn't get it. Has to back off to the corner. Toxic absolutely rips a flick across the box. And that's it. Another clean entry to the play. And makes it just look so simple. Even in 2024, a double jump shot is sometimes all you need to catch one of the best players in the world off guard, I should say. It's been a perfect mix-up of lunging challenges, full shadowing, fake challenges, everything you could really be looking to add to your game from Nass's POV. I mean, he's had it. And Toxic needs to be the player scoring the next goal if he's going to win this game, if he's going to come back in this series. It feels like he has to get this next goal into Nass's net. There's half a chance. Nass briefly losing control of the ball. Toxic spots a small opening. Decides not to double jump at that ball though. for fear of Nass doing the same and forcing a favourable 50 for him. Toxiic denies the boost steal in the back corner. Wants that flick again, but it's just not good enough. The inconsistencies continue with Toxiic's flick game today. Nass past the early challenge. Double tap wide though. Toxiic wants a good 50. Can't buy one though. It's just Nass the entire way. 50s it through him. Flip resets the ball past him. And he just once again played that with such composure. The challenge and the follow-up aerial play made to look easy by Nass. Minute and 8 to go. Toxiic sticking in this one. It's a great chance to come back within 3. Phenomenal first touch by Toxiic. And the mind game! He is back within 3. And that was such an awkward first touch by Toxiic, but he did well. And he really was threatening a high shot there. Nass had to respect it. You would expect now that Nass has been faked, he's just going to ball chase the next play that he's challenging. Will Toxiic be able to adapt to that and put the ball past him? Well, this is going to answer our question. Will he just go for the outplay after the fake has worked? He did go for it, but he hit the bar. And Nass unable to counter into the open net, but Toxiic's giving it away to him. And Nass will be scoring 6-2. Well, it was a good effort by Toxiic, but unfortunately for him, he could not scramble back safely. That might be GG's. Toxiic needs a kickoff goal or a strong kickoff possession if he's going to stay in this one. And he just can't get it. A little bit of mechanical inconsistency on that approach by the looks of things. And Nass looking to add an exclamation mark to this game. Gets dunked on though. Hold on a second here. Can Toxiic slot this? He should. Little air roll rebound. 22 seconds. He's not done just yet. That's a fantastic ceiling challenge. Or I guess he just challenged off the back wall, but close to ceiling height challenge. Straight spawn kickoff. Oh, it's Nass with the turtle kickoff. And it's not going to work out. He kind of messed this one up. This is meta, but he didn't land clean. He landed diagonally. That let Toxiic force the ball right through him. Slight mistake with the flip cancel there by Nass. He tried an inverted half flip. Wanted to land straight backwards, but he must have turned his joystick slightly when he went for the flip cancel. That was a real chance for Toxiic to come back. Delayed kickoff hasn't worked though. Nass still in full control and still winning by the looks of things. Toxiic has to go for this. Oh, he gets him! No way! He had to get the demo there to have any chance, and he did get the demo. Look at this by Toxiic. He knew Nass wanted the boost, sniped him on it, and now he's got 4 seconds to work with. This is winnable. 4 seconds is a long time in 1v1. All he needs is any kickoff win here. Kickoff win to the side. Delayed kickoff to pop is fine. That follow-through bump by Nass though is crucial, and it's going to win him the game. Well, Toxiic tried to pop it over him. He did in fact get the ball up into the air, but Nass bumped him in the follow-through. Honestly, I might have preferred to just see Toxiic try and win the kickoff there. Just try and either get a old-fashioned standard kickoff goal, or, you know, the thing is, with 3 or 4 seconds on the clock, that's usually enough time to get the ball to the sidewall. If it goes sideways, you can usually get it up the sidewall if you have 3 or 4 seconds. If you have 2 or 1 seconds, you don't have time to do that. You have to go for a delayed kickoff or something to get the ball directly up into the air. But yeah, with 3 or 4, I think he probably could have just played for a more standard kickoff strat there. Instead of continually going back to the delay. Good try though. Really good try by Toxiic. That was a brave comeback attempt. Impressive challenge. Demo goal to come back within 1. Nass made to work hard for that last win, which he was able to get.